I've had conversations with different types of women, and I've been doing the whole dating thing for a while. And I talk to my sister, and we have debates back and forth about how men should treat women, and all these different things. And I've had situations where I've had talked to women, and they're very, like, some women are very judgmental, and some women don't listen, and some women are paranoid, and they have all these different behavior issues. But let me explain something about this. Whenever I go to, because a lot of women try to make this all about men are violent, or men just want to get in their pants, and a bunch of other stuff. Um, Whenever I go to, a lot of this really comes down to attractiveness and looks. Whenever I go to an ugly woman, actually, I can go to any ugly woman in public, and I say, let's go grab something to eat. Let's go play some Uno, because I like to play board games. Let's go play some board games, or let's go bowling, or let's go shoot some pool. Are you free? Her reaction is going to be like, probably shocked, like, wow, he's actually talking to me, like, oh. And it'll probably be like, instantly it'll be like, sure, what's a good time? And yeah, we can meet up and play some pool. I just got to get myself together and go home and take a shower. She's very accommodating. Okay. And it's smooth operation. Okay. Smooth operation. Does it mean that she's not putting her defenses up, that she's not being careful? No, she's still going to be careful. She might ask me, like, do I ever, like, she might talk to me to try to get a sense of my personality, and to make sure that I'm not trying to go out with her because I'm trying to do something to her. Sure. But she, for the most part, she's super easy to get along with. Okay. And no one can argue that a woman who's ugly uh, is still not being protective of herself, that she's still not being careful with the guy that she's going out with. But the main difference is she's very grateful that she's getting any type of attention, and that a man is interested in her. Okay? Now, I go to a pretty woman, and I do the same thing. It's, what's wrong with you, dude? Or, it's like this standoffish defensive attitude. And also, I've crossed the line now, because, how could I dare, ask her out on an instant date without getting to barely know her, even though, you're getting to know someone on a date, I mean, what am I going to do if I'm shooting pool with her, So the thing is, the women who are pretty are instantly defensive, some of them paranoid, and really comes down to the fact that they have a lot of options. So they treat men like they're a number, like they're disposable. Me giving her attention means nothing to her. It's not as important. It doesn't do anything for her. So to say that this has nothing to do with looks, and it's all, personality, oh, that it's the, and by the way, if she gets approached, the pretty woman gets approached by a really hot man, I'm talking like, this guy's 6 foot tall, muscles, dresses really nice, really attractive, sexy guy, she starts to act like an ugly chick, because he'll say, hey, you want to go shoot some pool, you want to do, she's like, ooh, really, you want to go out with me? And so this is really, a lot of this really has to do with attractiveness, has to do with looks. I also get women who are like super paranoid, defensive. Oh, are you a murderer? Or are you this and that? Just because I want to talk to them and get to know them, and they just have this, like, they don't trust men, you know. But yet again, if I go to the ugly woman, it's like, hey, when can we meet? So here's the thing: like, if you're a pretty woman, which I doubt any attractive women are watching this, and you're wondering how's the best way to treat men, just ask, what would an ugly woman do? Okay? Or call one of your very unattractive, lonely female friends and ask her, what would she do in your shoes? And I'm pretty sure she's going to tell you, like, dude, like, go out with this guy. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, make it happen. You know, I would kill for an opportunity like that. You know, ask an ugly woman what would happen if a man proposed marriage to her or told her that he loves her. Instantly. Like he talked to her a little bit, and he's like already, and she would say, well, she probably wouldn't rush to it, but she wouldn't dump the guy for that. Like, ugly women actually treat men the way that men want. If you wonder, what is it that, how do men want to be treated? Okay, if you're saying, okay, what is it men want? Men want the perfect beautiful woman. Okay, is a woman who's beautiful on the inside, and a woman who's beautiful on the inside, okay, behaves a lot like the most unattractive ugly women, because unattractive ugly women have to have a good personality. They have to be, that's their incentive. They have to have a good personality. They have to be friendly. They have to be nice. They have to be accommodating, because they don't have their beauty to lean on. Okay, whereas beautiful women don't have to be any of those things. When I meet a beautiful woman, it's, are you a vegan? Who are you voting for? What kind of food do you eat? Do you love animals? Actually, ugly women also care about if you love animals or not. But you get my point. It's all these questions that have to do with control, and trying to tell me who I am, and trying to make me the type of guy that she wants. Because if I'm not the type of guy she wants, she moves on to the next guy. So, so for me, am I saying that every pretty woman, however, is that way? That every and it's funny, because when men act like they're ugly, and I'm talking about men who are insecure, like they don't think they look good or whatever, it's the opposite. Like, women are turned off by that. So men who are accommodating, easygoing, and they're like really like that girl, it's like really, it's a real pain in the ass. But anyway, I what was that where was I getting at? I'm not at all saying that there are no pretty women with a beautiful personality, that there are no pretty women that treat men like they're special, like the men are the catch. But usually those type of women already get married, they get in relationships, they don't have a problem dating guys. There's no issue there. Okay. And that's beautiful women with a beautiful personality. Beautiful women with beautiful personalities treat men with respect, do not treat men like predators, are grateful that a man is giving her attention, recognize the sacrifices and the things that a man is doing. Maybe he traveled a long distance to meet her. Maybe he, sacrificed a certain portion of his income to take her out on a date. Um, and she's thinking, what else can I contribute other than my looks? That's what she's thinking. Okay. And that's how a beautiful woman who has a beautiful personality behaves. And I think that such a woman exists out there, but I do encounter a lot of pretty women, or a lot of attractive women, that don't understand that they're being facetious and an asshole toward men. And it's really about attractiveness. It's not about any moral. There's nothing there other than, I'm pretty, I look good, I got lots of dudes chasing me, and I'm just going to dump every guy that I encounter for any petty reason, and men don't matter. I mean, that's the impression I get. But that's also why I dated a lot of ugly women in my past, because I like their personalities. They were easy to chill with. There was no problems. And did I murder them? Did I hurt them? Did I like, Well, I dumped them because they were ugly. Like, there were limits to my, like, to my kindness, because I didn't find them, like marriage material. I didn't. They weren't someone I would wake up every morning to, and feel like inspired from by their looks. and I'm not shallow. I'm not saying I'll date. I'm looking for the perfect looking woman. I think most men are not shallow nowadays. Um, but she's got to be attractive, and I think that that's where I think I was fortunate enough to meet women that had good personalities but were unattractive. And so I know what a good personality is. Like I know what who someone who is actually good and kind and smart and has all these great qualities, I know what that's like. Okay, because I've dated a lot of unattractive women that have beautiful personalities. But when I want to date a woman who's beautiful but also has a good personality, now it becomes a major challenge. And that's where I'm at right now, where I'm trying to find someone who looks decent, and I'm not at all trying to say that she has to be perfect. I mean, like I prefer a woman who's fit and in really good shape. But I don't mind if she's a little overweight or has a pimple on her face or something. Like I'm not like some kind of perfectionist. Like I'm not trying to. I think a lot of women get this impression that men are looking for, when men say they want a pretty woman, that they're looking for a supermodel or someone who's like absolutely perfect looking. And no, I'm just looking for a woman that's in decent shape, takes good care of herself, and dresses really nicely and has a beautiful personality to go along with it. That she's grateful, she's polite, she's courteous, she's respectful, she's grateful that I'm talking to her. She's forgiving, like if I screw up in any way, it's like, okay, I'll give you a second, third, fourth chance, Um, she compliments me, oh, you're handsome, oh, you seem, that type of thing. That's what I'm looking for. And once I find that, I'm going to be like, man, I'm gold, man. I found a woman who looks good. I found a woman with a great personality who treats me like I'm a one in a million. And that's a wonderful feeling, but it's hard nowadays. And I think a lot of women don't understand that a lot of their behaviors really comes down to their, like they think they're beautiful on the inside. They think that um you know they're not the stereotypical dumb blonde who chews gum and like maybe because they have a college degree or something. They think that they have all these wonderful personality traits, but in reality a lot of them are ugly on the inside, and they're not a good experience for majority of men, and that's just the reality of it. And like I'm starting to be more discerning of women and their personalities, especially pretty women. And I start to ask, and I think one of the things I ask myself is, would an ugly woman do this? And if the answer is no, then she's got an ugly personality. Something's wrong with her personality, you know? And I do put women on blast because of that. And I'm not saying, oh, when I say on blast, I don't mean I attack her for her attractiveness. I just tell her, look, you're being unreasonable, you're being tough on me, whatever. And I also let women go. I stop talking to women that don't treat me like I'm special, that don't treat me like a human being, that are assholes. Because I've done that in the past. I mean, I've treated ugly women badly because I was the catch, and I know what it's like. I know what people who are assholes do. I know that because I've been that in the past. I've changed. I've actually reformed. Okay, because I went from doing that to uh, I would whenever I met a woman who was unattractive, I still took her out to dinner. I still treated her with respect. I actually started to, you know, understand she was a human being, and that took a lot of work. And I think that we need to stop treating people who are less attractive like shit and claiming that it's because we're just looking out for our best interest. No, you're treating them like shit because you're assholes. Period. I don't do that. I treat you ask any woman who's like there's a woman who has a crush on me. She lives in like the neighborhood, and she like is constantly like chasing me, and she loves the way I smell, and she's like texting me even though I don't text her, and she's like, oh, this and that. I probably should let her know I'm not like interested, but I don't treat her like shit. I actually am like polite, and I think most men are that way too. Like they feel complimented by certain women. But I don't treat her like shit, because I know what that feels like, and from the other side of the coin. And that's how I've evolved, where I treat unattractive women like human beings, you know. But I don't like treat them like they're like a predator or anything, or like I don't have an attitude with them, like I don't do that with certain women. I'm very polite, very respectful, and if I'm not interested, I just let them know that I'm not interested. Okay, that's all. I don't attack people, and I'm not that kind of person like women do. Women treat men like shit, and they attack men, and they, all this nonsense, and it's sad, but I okay, I know I'm going to find a really good looking woman who's got a great personality and fun to be with, and there's no drama, there's no games, there's none of that nonsense, and so I'm holding on to hope. Anyway, that's it.